Hello everybody, how are you today? Welcome. I want to talk to you today about bridge over troubled water. Now, not the Simon and Garfunkel bridge over troubled water, but kind of. You know, I have learned through being a CEO of a not-for-profit for over 20 years that your customer never forgets. They may never say anything to you for you to, if you make a mistake or something, they may never say anything to you, but they don't forget. And I know this because we deal with this one company, and I won't say who it is, but everything they have ever told us they will do, they never do. Never. Or they get it wrong, or the information's wrong, and by the time we get to their corporation and try to figure it out, we find out not even close. Now, it's not like I call this company up and say, hey, you told us this and this and it didn't come true. We just won't renew the contract. And most companies won't turn around and say, why didn't you renew? So everybody moves on. If you feel like it doesn't hurt to check in with your customer. Now, we see our customers for sure twice a year at our annual conference. So we're able to talk to them down there and try to get a feel for it. On top of it, that we have committee members who are out there a lot. We always ask them, what do they think about Arizona Alpha? What feeling do they have about Arizona Alpha? So we are always trying to see how our customer feels. Now, you can say, well, you can put it on Facebook and see how they interact with you. Very few people are going to get on Facebook, especially a business page, for the most part, and slam you. Now, depending on your business, maybe they probably would, but for our business, not too much. So keep your finger on the pulse, because again, you could lose customers and you don't know why. And it could have been something as simply as your salesperson, overpromised and under-delivered. Or they called you and asked you to send something in, to email something over, and you forgot and moved on. Or it could be many things. It could be things from big things to you said it would cost this much and they found out, it's going to cost a lot more. Or, you have an online program and your online program promises these 15 deliverables, and of the 15 you've met 3. So your customer moves on, and your customer doesn't necessarily go onto your page and badmouth you. They go on to all their friends' pages and say, oh, you don't want to get that program. It's not at all what they promised it to be. And you see a lot of that. So be careful when you're talking to somebody and you're signing contracts that you get in writing what they say they're going to do, because otherwise you're on a bridge over troubled water. You're dealing with a company you don't want to deal with, feelings get hurt, people get mad, and you can't wait to get to the date you can cancel them or, stop paying them. So always have an ear to the ground about what your customer is up to. Talk to your team. I'm always checking in with my team. How's so-and-so doing? Or I got an email and it sounded kind of snippy. Have you talked to this person lately? Or, my favorite was when I get emails from somebody and say, I asked for this information back January 15th, and here we sit at the end of February still waiting. And so I go check with my team, and they're like, we never even knew they asked for it. Or I've sent it 3 times, what's going on? But now they've waited 6 weeks, so now they're upset about it. So I always tell my team, when you send something, and you send something that's time sensitive, to ask the people, please respond back to us. And if they don't respond back to us, you respond back to them in a couple days to say, hey, did you get it? Because with, so much emails being spam, people get so many emails a day that sometimes, they forget they requested the information, they see us come across, and they're like, oh, it must just be one of their e-newses, and move on. You got to keep the lines of communication open, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because that's your money. Your money is your customer service. Your money is your customer. As much as you might like your team and think you have a great team and think they're awesome, and I have a fantastic team, I'm very blessed, our customers are still our customers, and they're our number 1 priority. So if you hear rumblings, you need to check it out. And you need to have your teammate, for the customer that definitely overpromised and then delivered, we talk to the person's teammate. So I'll be interested to see if the teammate follows back to this person and say, hey, they're really not very happy right now. Because that tells me they don't have the checks and balances in place. We have checks and balances in place, so when somebody calls and they're angry, I will find out about it. So I can reach out to the customer. And, and this is kind of contrary to what everybody says, the customer isn't always right. Sometimes the customer has it wrong. And it's either up to you to decide, do you want to correct the customer and say, well, that's not really correct, or do you want to let it go? It really depends on the situation as to what side I come up on it. If it's not a big deal, the customer's wrong, but it really wasn't a big deal, I just let it go. Because I don't need to prove them wrong to make me feel better. But if it's a big deal, or it's something that, they were mean to the teammate, then I feel the need that you have to circle back and say, you know what, you were wrong. This is how it is, and this is how we can prove it. So don't live by the motto that customer is always right, even to the expense of your own team, because it's not fair to your team. If you don't back your team, you won't have a team. And in today's job market, where people are begging for employees, they're begging so much that my daughter moved to Tennessee to help out a relative there because he can't fill his positions. So he's like, if you could just come out for a couple months, it'd be helpful. She may live there forever. But that's how desperate people are getting, that they're, I'll pay you whatever it takes to get you across the country to come work for me. So in this day and age, you want to be very loyal to your staff, your team. You want to be very loyal to your customer, but you've got to know where you come up on the issue. And it kind of goes to what I'm always talking about when you're a leader, is you have to have very strong self-awareness. You have to know how you'll respond. You have to know how your team will respond. You have to take time, because we are moving into a time of being nice. And I know you think that's crazy with what's taking place, but that's why we're seeing so much anger. And you get on Facebook and you see people saying such mean things to people, and just, or Twitter for just no reason, just to be mean. So you're going to see us swing, as I believe, at least as human beings, that we're going to swing and start being nice. And the nice people do finish first, and the nice people will have the biggest, largest team, because people want to work for people nice. People don't want to work for people that are mean. And I know, because I was a mean boss in the beginning. I was an ass. I was a dictatorship, according to my team members that are still left. So you got to grow into your leader, but you got to always remember, support your team. Even if you have to take the hit for your team, because you can go talk to your team behind the door, closed doors, and say you really effed up, but you don't need to be telling the world. So in this day and age, if you're a salesperson, don't over-deliver and under-promise, because they will not forget. It'll create a bridge over troubled water, and your customer will for sure remember. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're interested in turn your mindset into total success, I do have that opt-in for your email on Facebook page here somewhere. And if you're ready to empower your future by rewriting your past, I can help you there too. As a leader, you have to constantly be in the personal development, constantly be looking inside of yourself, constantly trying to figure out what's working, what's not, and fixing what's not, rewriting what's not, so you can become a better leader. Because the good leaders are the ones that have the largest teams and make the most money. And at the end of the night, put their little head on the pillow and are happy campers. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.